What's going on, Dolphins? It is your boy Dillon, and we are now past cut down day. Rosters have been trimmed. There is a bunch to talk about, though, mostly regarding practice squad and players that have been added to it. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's see. Real quick, let's note that Shaq Calhoun was claimed by the Bengals. So the Dolphins are not going to be able to place him on the practice squad should they want to, because he's been claimed by somebody, which is, I mean, you guys know how I feel about Shaq Calhoun. He ended up being one of the better players last year on the offensive line. They got rid of him. I think it's stupid. I don't think this fucking organization has any clue or idea what they're doing, etc., etc. Just real quick from Alan Poupar, for Miami Dolphins, or Miami Dolphins fans are bemoaning the fact that they didn't claim any players off waivers, remaining that none of the 4 players they claimed last year, there's 5 actually, after the cuts to 53 remain on the current roster. So that's part of what I was saying yesterday and in my previous videos, is that there were all these guys that were supposed to be, you know, carryovers from last year. Guys that were, you know, waiver claims or undrafted free agents or whatever, that were supposed to be hidden gems and then actually performed pretty well, and the Dolphins just got rid of them. They're terrible at evaluation. They are garbage at it. Anybody who claims otherwise is fooling themselves. But whatever, there's still, I'm sure, plenty of people that think this Dolphins organization is going in the right direction. Anyway, so let's see. Next we have, so we are going to have a quarterback on the practice squad. This is actually not very surprising, but per source, this is from Barry Jackson, quarterback Jake Ruddock joining Dolphins practice squad. Phins have their 3rd quarterback. Let's see. And real quick to add to some of that context from before, from Adam Beasley, 53 weeks ago today, the Dolphins claimed 5 players off of waivers: Trent Harris, Ken Webster, Deion Lacey, Avery Moss, and Steven Parker. Today, 0. Also, none of those players are still with the team. And in fact, though, several of those players actually had, you know, solid performance or did some good things, right? Anyway, let's see. What else do we got? So also, it's interestingly enough, the Dolphins are signing former Browns wide receiver Antonio Callaway to their practice squad. Possible high reward signing. Yeah, maybe, but there are definitely some serious downsides. First of all, he obviously hasn't, you know, didn't stick with the Browns. He's been in the league now for a couple years. And, you know, there's definitely still a lot to be desired there. And obviously, so far, the arc of his career, if I'm not mistaken, he was a 4th round pick by the Browns and is now, after a few years or whatever, however long he's been in the league, has now been relegated to a practice squad on another team. But additionally, Ian Rappaport adds this: Callaway is suspended the first 7 games. Okay, great. So he had obviously either substance abuse issues that he got, you know, suspended for, or personal conduct policy, right? Either the substance abuse policy or the personal conduct policy. One of those two. Either way, that's not very good. I mean, like, this organization, on top of being terrible at evaluating, they love bringing in castaways, backups, etc. And then they also love to bring in guys that are either injury prone or have like off the field issues, right? So anyway, whatever. So, I mean, that is what it is. You know, so he's going to be added to the practice squad. Also from Barry Jackson. Barry Jackson's getting a lot of these out. Let's see. Dolphins signing cornerback Tay Hayes to the practice squad, so he is making it back there. He essentially finished 54th in the battle for 53 roster spots, apparently, losing his spot only after trade for wide receiver Lynn Bowden. Okay, so there's that. Also, let's see. Barry Jackson adds that the Dolphins are adding wide receiver Kirk Merritt and offensive guard Durval Quiranito to the practice squad. So, as I mentioned, he came over from Brazil as a defensive tackle and was that for the first, I want to say this is the 3rd year now that he's gonna be in the league. I think. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, point is, he's chewing up through his years of eligibility on the practice squad, but they brought him in as an offensive or a defensive lineman, and up to this point has been a defensive lineman, and only recently have they switched him to an offensive lineman. We'll have to see how that pans out. Yeah, they're also adding tight end Chris Myark to the practice squad, which I like, definitely. That's a good one. Let's see, what else do we got here? He adds Barry Jackson is adding that undrafted rookie offensive tackle Jonathan Hubbard is being added to the practice squad as well. So there's another one. And so obviously a lot of these guys are, from the cuts. And it seems that, pretty much everybody with the exception of Jake Ruddock has been from the list of 24 players that they cut from yesterday. So there's that, which is cool because like I said, there were a lot of players that I wanted them to bring in from that list, because there were a lot of those guys that should, at the very least be with the team because they were, carryovers from last year that actually did perform well. Let's see. Additionally, Barry Jackson adds they added running back Salvon Ahmed to their practice squad. Let's see. He had only been with the team for about a week before they ended up cutting him, right? Because like I said, we just signed this guy. They cut him, but now he's on the practice squad. Additionally, they had added also safety Nathan Hawley to the practice squad, another guy who had been from the 24 cuts as of yesterday. But he was the most recent CFL player that they brought in. He was Rookie of the Year last season. So there's that. Let's see. They also have added defensive end Tyshun Render to the practice squad. Also via Barry Jackson. Reporting this intriguing rookie was praised by defensive line coach Marion Hobby. All right. Well, we definitely need a lot of help along that line. So we'll see what he's able to do. I'm going to get into this in a minute. Some more about the Josh Rosen situation, because there is a very interesting development there, because he has been added to another team's practice squad, which, by the way, the Dolphins could have done that. And frankly, if I'm being honest, I think he does have more talent and skill than Jake Ruddock. However, I will say that, Josh Rosen went from being an overconfident, cocky asshole coming into the league to now being like, pretty much the exact opposite. Like, he reminds me of Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, because he's like, he just looks very, downtrodden. And you just get the sense from him that he's like been drained of confidence and stuff like that. Anyway, so now he has the exact opposite problem and has developed additional issues in his game because of that. Anyway, whatever. It's neither here nor there at this point, because he is on another team's practice squad. Tampa Bay, as a matter of fact, has picked him up, and that Tampa Bay squad all around is looking pretty impressive. Apparently they have 5 quarterbacks on the roster, including 2 on their practice squad at the moment. But should Rosen stick there, he does actually get to learn then behind Tom Brady, which I think is fascinating. But as I've mentioned, I think he could develop into a really good quarterback in the league. He just needs to be in a lot better of a situation. And frankly, year 3, if he's on Tampa Bay's practice squad, getting to learn from like Tom Brady and et cetera, and they have a solid fucking team overall, right? Like, so that honestly could be the situation that Josh Rosen needs, and that he's been looking for, and whatever, the kind of environment that he could really use. But just interestingly, because Barry Jackson noted this about how his cap hit affects, it's interesting. Rosen's 2020 Phins cap hit rises from $2.2 million to $4.9 million with them releasing him. So on top of the fact that, there are certainly reasons why you could argue they should have kept him, and they definitely could have put him on the practice squad, obviously. But additionally, then his cap hit more than doubles, which increases the strain on their cap. But apparently it won't affect their 2021 cap space. Anyway, so whatever. That's just another little interesting side note. I will get to more information on that in just a second. Okay, so let's see. Already talked about Callaway. Yeah, so just real fast, I mean, Josh Rosen is being added to the Tampa Bay practice squad, which is fascinating. Honestly, though, there's really not much more to say about it. He's being added to the practice squad, and I said pretty much everything I need to say on that situation. But yeah, so that's what I got for you right now. That appears to be the list of players so far to this point that the Dolphins have signed to the practice squad. I do believe there are more spaces. It does not seem that they have filled it because I believe that there is 16 spots allowed, and I don't think that was 16 players. So anyway, I will continue with updates as that continues, or as they continue to come in, and once it's finalized, we'll talk about that just to wrap it up. But that's how it is for now. And yeah, I mean, we have the Dolphins 53-man roster and at least a portion of the practice squad, and we are now 7 days away from playing a game, so we'll see how it turns out. Yeah, anyway, my hopes are not particularly high. I want them to prove me wrong, and I hope that they prove me wrong, but they still have a long way to go before being able to do that. And unfortunately, the data does suggest that they are more likely to prove me right in my assertions than prove me wrong. But to be fair, that still has yet to play out, and we are super close to finding out at least the first massively important piece of data and information to determine which conclusion will be ended up coming to, or which conclusion we will end up coming to after we have played our very first game of the season against the New England Patriots in Foxborough in 7 days, in a week. So with that, I'm gonna get out of here. I hope you guys appreciate my perspective. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Share my channel and videos with your friends and family. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comment section. And of course, as always, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Dillon Tartaro. And with that, I am out. I'll see y'all soon. Fins up.